Hey guys, it's Jason Lawrence, J-Law Fitness here again. So this video is the second part of the biceps anatomy video where I talked about all the different components of the biceps muscle. So in this one we're going to talk about the exercises that target each one of those components. So I'm going to start with here on the bench, we're going to do some work with the long head of the biceps. Now remember, the long head kind of runs right here and then around, and then it also connects up here in the shoulder. So remember, I talked about having to be in slightly different positions to get the most effectiveness out of the long head. So that's what we're going to work on, is I'm going to show you some of those different positions. The other consideration too, remember, is that we also want to kind of be more in internal rotated position, because that helps to kind of single out that long head. So the first one we're going to start with here is going to be the incline bench curl. So with this one, as you can see, as I lie back, I'm letting my arms extend, so I'm extended at both joints. Okay. Now with this one, some people like to start in kind of this neutral grip. I don't necessarily see the need for that. I think that it works just fine if you're in this more supinated position to start, since you already have everything else elongated. And also with a lot of these activities, I like to try to do less of a grip. So when I'm coming up, I'm trying not to be really, squeezing and using my supine or my forearm muscles too to also assist with the motion. So same thing, you're going to come up for about a 2 count and then down for 3 or 4. So you're coming here and then you're controlling it down. Make sure you get all the way down at the bottom and then back up and then control it down. Really want to squeeze those biceps the whole way through. Now, if you guys do this one right, you're really going to feel that squeeze all the way through there. Okay, the next one we're going to do is going to be a shortening now of the biceps. So we're going to be kind of facing the opposite way on the bench here. So still with the same weights, but this time you want to kind of get facing down this way. You want to hold the weights kind of out in front of you in this position, and see how when I'm in this position, my arms are straightened all the way here, and I'm more in that shortened position of the long head of the biceps. So same thing, you're trying to keep in that position, and you're pulling all the way up with arms. Okay, now the important thing here is to make sure that you're not letting your arms come back like this as you're curling, because that's going to decrease the effectiveness of what you're trying to do here, which is to shorten across everything. So you're here and you're really trying to bring those weights all the way up to your face and then control it back down. Okay. The next one I'm going to show you is just a variation of that, the one we just did. This is with the pulley system though. I'm really a big fan of the pulley system. I think the pulley system works more effectively actually even than the dumbbells, because it gives you more of that tension all the way through. So with this one, we're kind of gripping more like a neutral position, so you don't necessarily want your arms to be rotated in or out as you're doing it, but you're going to lean back to get the weight off here a little bit, and then it's the same concept here. You're trying to bring right to your face and then back out. Bring it right into your face and back out. Okay? Same thing, about a 2 count when you're coming up, and then 3 or 4 when you're going down. Now the last one, and I like to usually do this one like as a superset, but it's the no grip curls. So you're kind of gripping this dumbbell here in this position, and then what we're doing here is we're kind of starting here, and then you're coming up as high as you can there, really contracting the biceps. And now notice how I'm really internally rotated here. See how that works? Because that way we're kind of targeting just the long head a little more. And as I come up here, you can really see that outer part of the biceps really contracting. Okay? So those are the best ones to work the long head of the bicep. Now we're going to come back over here and we're going to do more of the short head and the brachialis. So we'll just reposition over this way. slide this side of the way real quick. Okay, the first one we'll talk about is the short head. So the short head, remember, we're kind of talking about this spot right here in the bicep. Okay, and the short head, remember, doesn't cross. So really we're just trying to focus on that supination, and then we're also trying to focus on just making sure we're getting that elbow flexion here. So with this first one, I want to start in more of this neutral grip, and then when we come up, we're going to try to kind of externally rotate the shoulder out a little bit, the arms out, to really try to single out the short head a little bit more. So you're coming up and out, and then control it back down, and up and out, and control it back down. Now notice when I'm doing this, I'm not rocking myself back or doing any of that crazy stuff, because you want to maintain that good form. So we're supinating and then going out and then bring it back down. Okay, now the next one is starting in supination already, and this is more of like just the wide curl. So you're already starting in that position that you need to be in, and you're just trying to really squeeze all the way up together and then control it back down. Okay? Okay, and the last one I like to do for the short head is the static arm curl. So with this one, you're going to start with one weight kind of in a static position here, and notice I am kind of rotated out a little bit as I'm holding it. And with the other one, you're going to kind of be slightly rotated out. You're coming up for a 2 and down for a 3 or 4. Okay, I usually do about 4 on each side, and then I switch over to the other one, and same thing. So that way you're holding one statically the whole time, and the other one's doing the actual reps. Okay. Last one is brachialis. Now remember, the brachialis is a little bit different than the short head and the long head, because the short and the long head want to be really strong supinators. So they're trying to, do the supination position too. But with the brachialis, it runs kind of deep to the long head and kind of more on the outside of it. And with this one, you want to be more in that neutral grip or even a pronated grip as you're coming up, because that helps to kind of single that muscle out a little bit more as opposed to the short and long head, because they're such strong supinators. Now we talked about in the anatomy that this is more of the muscle, or the part of the muscle that gives you that width to your bicep. So with this one, the first one I like to do is just a hammer curl. So we're starting in that neutral grip, and we're just trying to bring it straight up and then control it back down. Good. And then the next one is more of a pronated position. Now you could do this one with both weights here together if you want, but I like to do this one with single arm, just because I feel like I can get across my body a little bit more and it works it more effectively. So I'm starting here kind of across my body in a pronated position, and then I'm bringing it up and staying in a little bit of that pronation as I come up, and then control it back down. And if you really squeeze here, you can really feel this muscle here, the brachialis. You can really feel it tensing up as you come out and across and then come back down. Okay guys, that's the exercises that I find are most effective to work the complete biceps, to really get that girth and also the overall strength you want. In a later video, I'm also going to show you stuff about, really tensing with heavy weight, because in order to really get, mass and bulk to the biceps too, you have to really make sure that you're overloading, that you're doing a lot of heavy weight too. And I'll kind of show you that just to work the entire biceps as an entire muscle group instead of trying to break it down individually.